This week's tutorial, I have to open Photoshop here. I should probably share my screen. There we go. Okay, so this week's tutorial is called American Gothic. So the idea behind this tutorial is to create a parody of this famous American painting by Grant Wood. This was from 1930, and it was submitted to an art contest at the Institute of Art in Chicago. And they at first thought it was a joke, and they didn't take it seriously until one of the art critics stepped up and said, hey, we should award this the bronze medal, and we should purchase this painting. So it still resides there at the Art Institute of Chicago. And it has gained fame as a cultural icon for many reasons. This was 1930, so it was right before the Great Depression. Once the Great Depression hit, this painting really helped to symbolize the American pioneer spirit and this sense of steadfastness and strength. Before that, it was almost like poking fun at the Midwest a little bit, but it was really inspired by this cottage in the background here. It has Gothic style architecture in this Gothic window, so that was a very important symbol. It's also reflected in the pitchfork and the kind of the wrinkles on the old man's face. These two people were never here at the same time. A man is actually Grant Wood's dentist, and then he modeled the woman after his sister, Non. And the rumor is that at first it kind of looks like a farmer and his wife, but the rumor is that it's a farmer and his daughter, partially because Non was embarrassed to be seen as being married to a man twice her age. So this is a man and his daughter. There's some symbols here, like the cameo around her neck signifies Europe, or maybe like her dreams to move on to something bigger and better than the small town in which she lives in Iowa. And she also has sort of that, print that kind of on her dress that signifies Europe as well and travel. And there's lots of ways to interpret this painting depending on what theme you choose. So it's very easily parodied, which means they kind of mimic the painting. So here's some examples of like final versions that we've done this in the past in a graphic design class as like a whole project. But for a tutorial, you could just change a few things about them, maybe like change their, like keep their faces the same, but give them different hairdos. I suggest to get outfits, find costumes online. Just Google, like, for example, this is a mermaid scene. You can type in mermaid costume, and then it's just going to be a simple background, so it'll be easier to select and move these pieces around. So you decide what you keep from the original painting and what you change to reflect your theme. Here's an alien theme. So that's kind of fun. They change the color of the people's skin, and I'll show you how to do that today. They also replace the background, and instead of the pitchfork, which is sort of that, symbol of hard work, he's replaced it with a lightsaber, which is more alien. So thinking of how you can replace the symbols here, they replace the Gothic window with the bat symbol. So Batman is the theme. And then they replaced his mouth so you can kind of see the connection. So you can go as deep or as, little as you want in this fun tutorial. Okay, so I went ahead and chose a mermaid theme just to show you how to do this or how to get started. So we are going to start by selecting the background. So I'm going to use the quick selection tool. I like to always make a copy of the background layer, and that's just to ensure that you have a backup in case you mess up. So I could even hide this. I don't really need it. It's just there, kind of like an insurance policy. Okay, I'm going to select this background here, and then I can either delete it if I decide I want to put like a scene behind it. Or you see, I didn't do it perfectly. You might want to add a mask, but or you can even go in and just like erase it by hand. But the transparent pixels show, or the checkerboard shows that there's no content there. It's transparent. Okay, so I could put like another picture behind them. Maybe I want these people separated from the background. Let's see what I'm gonna do with her. I went on Google and just typed in mermaid costume, and I picked one. So I'm going to go File, Place Embedded. This is how you put a picture from your computer into the actual document. So let's do this one right here. And this might be the right size, but if not, you can hold shift and resize it. If you don't hold shift, it's just gonna like make it wonky. So you make sure you always hold shift whenever you resize things. And then it's really easy to select the white of the background. So you're gonna go to the magic wand tool and then just click on the background and then hit delete. And I can't do it because it's a smart object. So we need to rasterize our layer. Click on it. This shouldn't happen very often, but every once in a while it's like the wrong format. Okay, and then hit delete. That's pretty good. So there's a little bit of leftover around her hair, but that's fine. Okay, it's obviously too small, so we're gonna make this bigger. Now we don't want to just replace her with a whole different person. We want her face to be showing through. So I'm gonna try and delete her face. And this is a really fun project for experimenting with the tools in Photoshop, just to see what you can do and which tool to choose for which job. So for this, it might be easiest to use the magnetic wand or the magnetic lasso tool. So I'm on the right layer and I'm going to try to delete her face. So this picture may not be aligned perfectly, but I'm just going to do my best for the sake of this demonstration. Okay, and then delete. I think. Unless I'm missing. Oh, I'm in. There we go. Delete. Okay, so obviously it's too small. Command T to make things bigger. And if it doesn't fit her face, we may just have to do something different for her hair. I'm going to try and make it fit just for speed's sake. That's good enough for now. You can be a little bit more picky. I might get rid of this arm because it looks like his coat is in front of her. And then we could see the pitchfork a little bit better. So I'm just going to hide her for a second. Select him. So I would use the quick selection tool. Oh yeah, and if you guys have a question, just you can use the raise hand icon. Yeah, so I need to take him and put him on the top layer. So hold Option. If your quick selection tool, you notice it selects more than what you want, you can go back, you can unselect with Option. Makes it like a minus sign. Okay, so I'm gonna go Edit Copy, Edit Paste, and then I'm just gonna drag that to the top. So now when I reveal my mermaid, you can see that he's in front of her, so we can see the pitchfork, and then we can replace it with a trident. Okay, so obviously her skin color does not match the mermaid's picture that I found. So, whoops, this layer. So I can try and add some adjustments. And again, this is not perfect. If you want to do minor little movements, you can use the arrow keys, and then that'll place it a little bit more like fine-tuned placement. Okay, so her skin kind of has more red in it. So I'm gonna go back to this image here. I like to hide things when I'm working on layers beneath. And I just need her face. And then I copy and pasted it. So now just layer 2 is only her face. So I can go up to Adjustments, under Image Adjustments, and then go down to something called, where is it? Color Balance. So now you'll see whenever I slide these sliders, it's just going to affect her face. So you can make it more blue or red, and actually it should probably be blue because they're underwater, but that's okay. So you can kind of match it to the skin of whatever body you found. So that's good enough for now. Maybe something like that. Okay, so far so good. We're going to replace this trident at this point, and then we'll decide on the background, and then we'll be finished. So for the trident, I think the easiest way to replace that, since it's all on that like black of his jacket, would be the clone stamp tool, which is a corrective tool Photoshop has for you to replace pixels in one area with pixels from another. So we're going to use the pixels of his jacket to cover that pitchfork. Okay, so this clone stamp tool is hidden underneath there. So if you hold down the Option key, it'll let you place your source point. So it'll take pixels from right here. And then when you paint with them, you see this crosshairs shows you where you are. That's where you're borrowing pixels from. Whoop, when I get to there, I kind of have to stop and then do it again from the top so that I can cover it. So it takes a little bit of patience, but that's how you get rid of the pitchfork. And then to add a trident, again, I would go File, Place, Embedded, and I would find a trident. I know I saved it. Oh, it's in the, it was in downloads. Well, maybe it's on desktop. Nope. Okay, well, never mind. You can go online and search for a trident. I'm pretty sure that, you don't have to type in, trident costume or anything like that. You can just search for a regular trident. But your theme might be different. Your theme would probably be something more personal to you, like a TV show that you like. Think of two characters like The Simpsons. You'd have, Homer and then Marge, and you'd change their faces or change the color of their hair or their outfits to help reflect that theme. So there's just so many different examples of like dynamic duos in pop culture that you can think of. Maybe books that you like, or trilogies, or Star Wars comes to mind. As have a lot of characters that you can choose from, and just really have fun with this. One last thing, because I'm not going to change him into a merman, but you could, kind of the same way we did with the girl. So we'll make them look more like they're underwater by adding an underwater background. So hopefully that's saved in the right folder. That plays some. There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna make this bigger, and it's gonna look really pixelated, but that's okay. It'll rasterize. And then this, we can kind of decide, the move tool, we can decide where to place it, and then we can either put it on top and add a blending mode so that it is like we're seeing them through that layer. That's kind of an effective strategy. Or we can put on normal and then move it to the bottom. So it'll be behind that layer, so it kind of looks like, it just looks like clouds, kind of. They move that up, looks more like water. And then the last thing I had, if you want to do something with the Gothic window, you could either select the Gothic window and put it on a different building, like SpongeBob, his house could have a little Gothic window on it or something like that. Or I'm just going to replace that window. So one way that you might want to do it, make sure you're on the right layer where the window is, and then select the window, and then you can try the content aware fill. So this is going to fill the inside of the marching ants with what is outside of it. So if we go up to edit and go down to fill and then choose content aware, click OK. I always like to cross my fingers. Okay, so now it's replaced that window. Now we can put our own window there, and since it's nautical theme, I chose to use a porthole. So File, Place, Embedded. Here it is, and I have a little dolphin staring out of it. Ooh, that's really tiny. Okay, so obviously I need to make a selection and, adjust to make it fit there. But pretty good. All right, so if you hold Shift and Option, I believe, you can drag from the center. And then just for the sake of time, I'll just add a mask. And let's make it smaller. Command T, or you can go Edit Transform. And then there it is in place of the Gothic window. Kind of fits with our theme. Okay, does anybody have any questions? I know this is not finished, not the final version, but hopefully it gives you maybe an idea, something you can run with. I thought you could do even maybe like a quarantine version or something like that, just using the theme or being inspired by characters from like a favorite movie or favorite show to be able to have fun with this one this week. Okay, any other questions? All right, well that's what I had for you guys. Thanks so much for coming, and as always, just shoot me an email if you have any questions about anything.